Welcome back to the Geeks and Company. I am editor Megan, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about a new show that Marvel has out called Agatha All Along. Agatha All Along! Okay, so I'm going to spoil the title card a little bit right off the bat because I think this show is an absolute banger. It's great, I'm loving it, and I think that you should be watching it because I don't think enough people are watching this show. It's getting a pretty good turnout because they didn't have like a huge budget for this, so I think it's still going to do well for Marvel, but more people need to watch this show. Honestly, if you enjoyed WandaVision, this is a very similar feel. So like, the procedural opening is the very first episode that they have. They take all of the characters that you kind of remember from WandaVision, the residents of the town, and put them into this like police procedural television show. And the first half of that first episode is a procedural. Like, you can see the little bits and pieces kind of here and there that don't quite fit, and that's what kind of gives you that hint that something's not right. If you haven't like seen WandaVision, but if you're gonna be watching this, you've probably seen WandaVision. And yeah, the style that they have for that is very reminiscent of the way that they jumped through decades on WandaVision, being able to have those different styles of television incorporated into this. I believe it's the same person that is creating this show that created that show. So it makes sense that they've got a similar feel, but I just like the feeling of someone who actually enjoys TV. This isn't just like a director who wants to be doing Marvel movies and got stuck doing one of their TV shows. Like, the person working on this seems to actually like television, which I appreciate because I like television. I personally would way rather watch television shows than movies. A specific scene that I really want to mention from that first episode that I feel like set the tone and I really enjoyed was the like shedding the layers scene that Agatha went through. So when she's breaking out of Wanda's spell, the like trap that she was cast into, she goes through all of these different costumes that she was wearing throughout that series. And she goes backwards until, at the very end, she's standing in her living room with sunlight coming up behind her, and she's actually fully naked. And one thing that they actually did that I appreciated that was actually Catherine Hahn's idea is when she like runs out of her house, she was apparently supposed to be grabbing the robe that she's in like later in the scene, but Catherine said that she would just be freaking out and would just run out of her house like buck-ass naked. And it was funny, but also it makes sense for the character. Like, they're having her be exposed to show that like she's exposed and powerless in that moment. She's realizing that Wanda took all of her power. She has no idea what she's been doing the last 3 years. She's been trapped in this like prison of her own mind. And I feel like that's an important key aspect to get across about the character if you're going to be diving into the actions that she takes later on in the series. Now, going right after that, and honestly just before as well, they had Rio incorporated as a character quite early on. So Aubrey Plaza is playing this character called Rio, and the playoff of Rio and Agatha and the way that they have so much obvious history, they work together so well as characters because they aren't really opposites, but they're definitely not the same. Like, you can tell that there's chemistry there, which I really enjoy. I love seeing that, like, I love seeing those two on screen together. I don't know if they've actually worked together before, like Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza, but if they haven't, like, whoever cast this, they did a bang-up job because these two together is gold. I love every scene that they have together. It's so, so good. And honestly, the whole cast actually works really well together. I don't think that I've ever seen a cast that's like almost all female that doesn't feel like it's kind of forced or like shoehorned in, if we're remembering the all-woman scene at the end of Endgame where all of them band together just to be together, to like fight together because ladies. This doesn't have that feeling to me. It feels really natural, and honestly, and the cast is so funny, they're so engaging, they work together really well, and nothing feels like it's being pushed at you. Like, it just feels like it's right for the story, which is such a nice feeling that they can actually do this correctly. I can have all of my fun witchy cast members together without feeling like it's for feminism and just because they have to do it. Like, it just makes sense. When it comes to the plot, I really appreciate the, like, trials storyline that they're taking. So the first episode was about Agatha removing herself from Wanda's spell. She's broken out, she's gonna try and get her power back. In the second episode, they're going and they're gonna find these different members of the Coven. Agatha is going with Teen, they're gonna pick up their other witches that they need to be able to access the road. And then from the third and fourth episodes, they're on the road. So each of these little episodes has a self-actualized storyline. I don't feel like I'm watching a movie that's being broken up into parts. There's a complete beginning, middle, and end for every episode that we've watched, which is so nice to have. Because there's been a lot of things that I've watched recently. I feel like the way that streaming shows are put together now tends to be very, this could just become one long movie, but we were hired on to make a streaming series, so we're just gonna make a 4-hour movie that we break up into 6 episodes instead. And this doesn't have that feeling at all, which is so wonderful. They're doing such a good job. Like, I know that I was gonna try and, like, give more points onto this, but I can't express enough how much I need you to watch this show. There are so many different, like, notes and points that it hits. If you like things that are a little bit spooky, because we're in, like, Halloween, there's definitely, like, an ominous and kind of horror movie-esque feeling to the series, but not overly so, because I can't watch horror movies, I don't enjoy them. There is a little bit of, like, mystery when they're learning, they're trying to solve all these different clues, trying to figure out who Teen is, what the trials they're going to run into are, what the end of the road is actually going to entail. They've gotten me so invested in Agatha's backstory, because we're learning about what might have happened to her son, where she's coming from, what she's looking for, what her and Rio have as, like, this history that's clearly there that hopefully we're gonna learn more about. And one thing that I really wish they would do, but I'm pretty sure they're not gonna do, I've seen a few people talk about this in, like, theory videos. I really want Teen to be Agatha's son, but I don't think he's going to be. I would love it if he was, but I think they're gonna go the route of having him be Billy, like having him be Wanda's son. And the reference points that I've seen on other videos about this make sense. The one that makes the most sense to me is the little, like, shape that the sigil makes when it goes over his mouth when he tries to say what his name is. Well, and I've also seen theories that Rio is Lady Death, which I think makes sense for, like, what we've learned about her character, with her saying that she's the Green Witch and that she was pulled up to enter the road instead of pulled down to enter the road when they needed to go from Earth down into a cellar, so clearly she's, like, coming up from the bowels of hell, maybe? I don't know. Wherever Lady Death exists from. And also her saying that, like, she needs her bodies, she's not allowed to personally kill Agatha. It feels like there's lots of little hints they're dropping there, so I'll be interested to see the route they take for her character. But overall, I am so on board for this show. If you really like fun, spooky, witchy, gay things, this is 10 out of 10, the show for you. Even if you don't always like that, I would give it a go, because if you liked WandaVision, I think that this show has a very similar feel. So, like, just try out the first 2 episodes. It'll only be, like, a little bit more than an hour of time commitment, and, like, just try it. Just give it a go. Just trust me on this. Just give it a go. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope that I have somewhat convinced you that you need to watch Agatha All Along. It's a wonderful show, and I am excited to see where it goes. I don't know if either of the theories that I talked about are going to end up being true. I'm excited to see what they have for Agatha's backstory. I want to know who Teen is, and I want to know who Rio is. And also what Rio and Agatha's history is there. Thank you so much for watching this with me. Stay geeky, guys, and I will see you later.